Can y'all see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so we will keep on going. There you go, Hope.
Okay, perfect. So sorry. I'm an economics major, so clearly not anything technical. My bad, y'all. But if we'll go to the next slide, I'll talk a little bit about who we are. So Anna and I are representatives of the Panhellenic Executive Council. We have 8 other girls who are on this council with us. We're all active members of one of the 9 different Panhellenic chapters here at Mississippi State. We work for a calendar year for Panhellenic, so that's a lot of different events, but the thing that we get most excited for is formal recruitment. And then during recruitment, we are all disaffiliated from our chapters in order to better serve the potential new members throughout this process, just so they can have an unbiased listening ear. And then the other people that your students will be interacting with the most are the Gamma Chi's. So these are 60 women who are also active members of their different Panhellenic chapters. And they are disaffiliated during this process to better serve the students. These women go through a very intense application and interview process, so they really are the best of the best, and they've been trained with good listening skills. They're very objective and impartial, and they are all women who are passionate about seeing students find their place in fraternity and sorority life. And then the potential new members, these are the women that are participating in sorority recruitment. So they are not initiates or actives of a chapter yet. They are what your students will be when they come in. So again, like I said earlier, we have a values-based recruitment at Mississippi State. So this process is designed to help our chapters and our potential new members discover their shared values and interests so that they can make real connections and build more authentic relationships. So as your student looks forward to the opportunity to join fraternity and sorority life, we encourage them to keep their core values close to them. And this process is a chance to show chapters who they actually are, so that they can potentially find a home in fraternity and sorority life. Okay, so the dates for recruitment, August 15th is the move-in day if your student is not participating in New Maroon Camp. And then that night at 5 p.m., there's a mandatory orientation in the student union, which this is where they're going to meet their recruitment counselor or their Gamma Chi and their groups that they'll be going through recruitment with. This is also where they'll get their schedule for the next day. And then August 16th is our Go Greek round. So this is a virtual round where they will get to talk to all of the 9 chapters. August 17th is philanthropy round. August 18th is the sisterhood round. And then August 19th is preference round, with bid day being on the 20th. So our process here, our Panhellenic recruitment process, is a mutual selection process. So we do this in order for both the incoming students and our individual chapters to have the opportunity to make decisions that best suit their needs and values. So it's not completely up to the student and it's not completely up to the chapter, it's mutual. So throughout each of these rounds, the mutual selection process will occur, allowing both the parties to make choices that best fit them. What this will look like for your student is after attending their parties every day, they will submit their selection online. So they will rank certain preferences based on the parties that they went to that day. Again, ranking these preferences doesn't guarantee that they will or will not be invited back to a particular chapter, but it's important that they list their preference. Selection will be done virtually through the P&M companion app every day, except for preference round. So when the P&Ms are finished with their parties on Go Greek Day, Philanthropy Day, and Sisterhood Day, they will meet their Gamma Chi, and their Gamma Chi will give them a unique password so that they can get in and go in and do their selection. And their Gamma Chi is there if they need help, but this is also a very private thing that they are able to do themselves. So for Preference Day, all the P&Ms will go to the Union Ballroom to make their final preferences because this is a little bit more serious. And then this is where they will sign the MRABA. The MRABA is the Membership Recruitment Acceptance Binding Agreement. So this is just the final step of recruitment. It involves potential new members signing this MRABA, a binding agreement, and once it's signed, it cannot be altered or changed. So you see on your screen what it will look like for the students. So they will go through and initial all of these parts. Basically, it just says that they will accept a bid from wherever they list. So if they attend one party on preference round and they list that house, then they will accept a bid from that house. Or if they attend two parties and they list both of those on their MRABA, they're saying that they will accept a bid from either one of those houses. We always encourage girls to, if they do visit two houses on preference, to list both of those houses, because if they have maximized their options, which means if they have fully participated in recruitment and gone to every party that they've been invited to that week, if they, again, attend every party and then list both the parties or one party, which if they got invited to one, they list one, if they got invited to two, they list two, then they are solidified to have a bid the next day. And then Anna's going to talk about what the rounds look like a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, so like Hope said, just hopping right into our rounds. The very first one is called Go Greek Day. So this is actually the first day that we do online. So we are doing this day via Zoom. This is how we've done it the past couple years and have had really great results with it. So we're going to continue to do that. But as far as what goes for your girl, she's going to show up to that P&M orientation on August 15th. And whenever she meets with her Gamma Chi recruitment counselor, she is going to give her a bag that has all of her t-shirts in it. So that'll be your t-shirts for the days of Go Greek and so on. And then they'll also receive their schedule for Go Greek. So they will have links to the Zooms on that schedule. And then also make sure that your daughter knows that whatever email she signed up with on Campus Director, that's the one that she uses to sign up for Zoom. We've had problems with that in the past, but if you have any issues, just feel free to reach out to me. Yeah, so P&Ms will attend all 9 chapters during this round, and they'll be wearing their Go Greek shirt. So the next day is philanthropy, and this day is our first day in person. So all of the rounds from here on out are in person. So the schedules will be distributed the next morning at the amphitheater this year. So we've done it in the Junction in the past, but we're doing it at the amphitheater. So it's going to be a lot easier of a transition to get to the row. So August 17th, they will meet in the amphitheater that morning and get their schedules. They can have a maximum of 7 chapters on their schedule during this round. And with this, like I said, it's in person, so it's a lot more meaningful, and it's super exciting to just get to chat with some girls in real life and have a good college experience to begin off your week. So like I said earlier, they'll get their t-shirts that on orientation, and they'll wear their philanthropy t-shirt. And then round 3 is sisterhood. So like the previous day, they arrive in the amphitheater on the morning of August 18th, and they get their schedule. They can have a maximum of 5 chapters during this day. So during these events, they will learn about the values, membership commitments, and sisterhood of all of the chapters that they are attending, and they will wear their provided sisterhood t-shirt. All of the t-shirts are also listed on our Instagram, so if you're confused on which days to wear what, you can find it there. So round 4 is our preference round. So as we've been saying before, August 19th, they'll meet in the amphitheater and get their schedule, and they can have a maximum of 2 chapters on this day. So both the active chapter members and P&Ms will have the opportunity to have much more meaningful and intentional conversations this day. So this is our last day of the actual formal recruitment process where you're having those conversations. So this is a very great day to get down to where you want to be. So the suggested dress for this day is not a t-shirt. We don't provide a t-shirt for this day. So we suggest attire that is appropriate for a wedding or cocktail event or even church, whatever your daughter feels the most comfortable in. So then bid day is on August 20th. So these bid cards will be distributed in the Union Ballroom by their Gamma Chi. So it's kind of similar to the orientation. Everyone goes to the Union and meets there, gets their bid card. After all of those have been distributed to all of the P&Ms going through, they will open their card and run to the amphitheater by chapter. And families are not allowed in the Union Ballroom. So you guys will just be in the amphitheater already to, I'm sure, probably take pictures of your daughter as she runs to her respective chapter. And then also in those bid cards, there will be 2 wristbands for family members to go to the chapter house following the amphitheater event. So this is where they will give you a ton of great information as far as all of the logistics of the chapter goes. And we have a note down at the bottom that some parent meetings will be virtual, so it's going to depend on a chapter basis, but they will let you know. So here's our bid day timeline and parking. Like I said, these are just kind of the logistics of things. So at 3 o'clock, potential new members only are going to arrive at the union. And then at 3:15, they'll open those bid cards. And then at 3:30, we'll start calling out by chapter for the members to arrive at the amphitheater. So you'll probably be seeing your daughter around the 3:30 mark. And then at 3:45, the bid day ceremony, where all new members have arrived. And then at 4 o'clock, bid day is going to conclude, and then the new members will go to their chapters. So this is what you'll need the wristband for. Parking for bid day will be available in the grass lot across from Sorority Row, right off Bully Boulevard. And there will also be additional parking near Fresh Food Company in the Welcome Center by Barnes & Noble. So make sure that you're parking in a designated spot and not one on the street or in some random field of grass, because parking services will get you.
All right, sweet, Anna. I also want to make sure that everybody knows that if you do not, if you can't make it to bid day, totally fine. We will have the option to view it via live stream on the MSU TV Center website. I have it linked in the email that I sent out, but wanted to make sure I said it again here. Okay, so next we are going to go into academic commitments and GPA zones. So going into recruitment, there is no GPA requirement to participate. Everybody is welcome to go through. However, there are internal processes that these chapters have whenever considering GPA and membership, because academics is such a big part of being in a chapter and, of course, being a student here at Mississippi State. And so we kind of created this zone based off of those internal processes. Again, this is not anything definite, yes or no, but just something to be mindful of and whenever you're going forward. So if you have a 3.0 GPA and above, your options are not likely to be limited. If you have a 275 to 299, your options are a little bit more likely to be limited. And then if you have a 2.74 and below, that would be the red zone, and you are more than likely going to have your options limited. Again, this is not to scare anybody or anything like that. Academics is just one piece of the puzzle here. And so we just want to be as transparent as possible so everybody knows what to expect whenever they do go through the process. So meal plans. So whenever you are a student at Mississippi State, you are required to have a meal plan through the university. Also, all of our chapters have meal plans internally as well that they will use at their chapter facilities, whether it's on campus or off campus. So with that, if you do decide to join a chapter, or if your daughter decides to join a chapter, they will have the option to switch from the weekly 21 meal plan, which is going to be the largest meal plan that freshmen can have. And then they will be able to switch to either the weekly 14 or the weekly 7 meal plan to help offset some of those costs, since you'll be paying 2 different meal plans. Like I said, they'll have until August 27th to do that. And we'll send out an email. It'll be super simple. You just fill out a form online, nothing crazy there. Moving on. So financial obligations. So as we move on to this, this is a chart that has the semesterly costs associated with each chapter. So really the main part that we will focus on is as this this first semester and second semester, and those are going to be what it is as a new member. Okay, so if you visit our website, there's a further breakdown of this number and charts down below. So here at Mississippi State, we do have a high percentage of members who pay all or some of their own chapter dues themselves. This financial responsibility is certainly feasible. A lot of our full-time students have on-campus jobs within the community, summer jobs help with costs, whatever it may be. And many of our chapters, if not all of them, offer payment plans to assist students and families in finding the best plan for them. Unfortunately, there's a lot of great things associated with being in a chapter, and they all cost money. And so I want to share this with y'all up front. That way y'all can have these discussions as a family and make sure that y'all have that expectation moving forward and know what to expect there. All right. So moving into it, I want to touch on a couple of things. So first, we are going to talk about legacies. And so a legacy, for those that don't know, is a sister, daughter, or granddaughter of a sorority alumni. So each chapter has different requirements for considering a potential new member a legacy. However, national organizations in general have kind of moved away from legacies holding as much weight as they once did. And the purpose behind this is to assist with removing some barriers from people that maybe if you aren't a legacy, you still have we're still all being considered the same, right? And so at one point, like I said, it was a huge component for somebody going through recruitment, but they worked really hard to level that playing field. So we're grateful from that. Being in Mississippi and at an SEC school in general, it's not uncommon for us to have a lot of legacies coming through. There are chapters here at Mississippi State that have been here for so long with so many alums having children that they could technically take an entire pledge class of legacies if they wanted to, but they're not going to do that. So again, typically nowadays legacies are just a courtesy for membership consideration, but chapters are not required to keep legacies. So there's no guarantee that if you are a legacy, you will be invited back to that specific chapter. If this applies to you or your daughter, I encourage you to reach out to your national organization or visit their website just to make sure that you understand their legacy policy fully. I also want to say that I understand it might be really important to you and your family if your student does join a particular chapter, especially if they're a legacy to yours. But at one point in time, you got to decide which chapter you wanted to join. So I encourage you to offer the same opportunity to your daughter so she can feel confident where she is and not just do what is expected of her or wanted of her. And then moving into some advice. So to start this section off, I want to address that there's usually a typical misconception that we hear that our office or our Panhellenic team, they are the ones that extend bids to students in recruitment. It's not true, but our jobs as staff and as volunteers at Mississippi State is to facilitate the recruitment process that the chapters have decided and voted on. So it's not my job to decide who goes into what chapter. I'm just here to facilitate the process. With that said, I also want to remind you again that this is your student's experience. She's about to be making a lot of decisions regarding her life, and I promise you she will enjoy this entire experience so much more, especially once the process is over, if she doesn't have to question if she made this decision for anyone but herself. So I would just suggest giving them some space, give them rooms to make these decisions and go where they truly feel as though that they fit and belong and that they decided on. I will also go ahead and say that they will probably not have their cell phones nearly as much. So if you do not hear from your student, please do not freak out. Prior to this week, I would suggest to go ahead and have the conversation of, if you need me, please call me, but I want this week to be about you and your experience. So again, just to start off with that. So if your daughter does come to you, I do not recommend talking to others about what they're going through in the recruitment process and their thoughts and decisions going through, especially with alumni of chapters, chapter members, etc. So for example, if your daughter did not have a good experience at the Beta chapter, please don't call your friend who is a Beta alum. I also discourage trying to get involved by reaching out to the chapters directly. If you as a parent has a concern, please reach out to our office. We have a form on our website that you can go and submit, and then we'll have our contact information up here. But again, please just, go ahead and come straight to us with that. The chapters would like to hear from your daughter, not necessarily from us or from the family. Next, please encourage her to have an open mind. Each sorority has a place for everybody, and that is the beauty of having such large organizations. You're going to have more academically focused groups, you're going to have more social groups, and you're going to have all these different types of people in every single chapter. Each of these chapters are nationally recognized, award-winning organizations. And if they weren't great, they would not be here at Mississippi State. So just keep that in mind moving forward. And when your daughter is setting like expectations for the week, you want to make sure that, that we're there. So next, please remind her to ask the Gamma Chi's exec members, me, or one of our other staff members if she has any questions or concerns. This is why we're here. The students serving in these roles, like the ones that were just presenting earlier, and our Gamma Chi's and the rest of our exec team, they've been working so hard, and they're about to be in some really intensive training leading up to recruitment. And they have voluntarily disaffiliated from their chapter to assist your daughters in this process, to again serve as an unbiased, sound board of sorts. And so they take this job very seriously, and they only want your daughter to feel loved and supported during this time. So I highly encourage you to let them do that and be there for them. Next, I will say that we typically place about 92% of our women into chapters, which is extremely high compared to some of our other peer institutions. But there are also times that women are not extended an invitation. And so I wanted to include some reasons that we see for that. Sometimes it's going to be academics, being rude to chapter members, maybe not seeming that interested in the chapter, whatever it may be. It's important for your daughter to know that she has to talk and put herself out there and seem interested in all chapters so that she can be considered for an invitation. We love our introverts. We love all the different personality types, but this is not the time to sit and not speak during this process. Of course, you want to remain true to yourself, but again, we want to encourage your daughter to put themselves out there, advocate for themselves, tell them about themselves. They want to get to know them, not necessarily who another persona or whoever it may be. So again, although some women do not receive a bid during this week, we have found many women to be placed in chapters later in the year through our continuous open bidding process if that does occur. And so this is allowed when chapters, national organizations approve that they can extend invitations to a certain number of women. And so all women that go through recruitment are not extended a bid. They will be considered for this by those limited chapters. So with all that being said, again, just a reminder, our staff does facilitate the process, and so we will be in and out of the office all recruitment week. So if you call the office and you need something, please don't be upset if somebody takes your name and number or calls you back, or please leave us a voicemail. I promise that somebody will call you back at some point. It may just not be immediately. And please know that there are never too many questions. Please reach out to us if you have any concerns at all, or see anything that raises a red flag. We want to know about them, and whether it's during recruitment week or at any time following after, please just let us know. You can also, again, call, email us. Again, there's that form on our website if you want to go that route as well. I will be here on campus all of recruitment week with the chapters, Gamma Chi's, exec, and most importantly, your student. And so I want to assure all of you that my top priority during this time is helping them feel supported throughout this process and make sure that they feel like their voices are heard during this time. So with all of that, I will finish all of that up. Here's our contact information. Please take a picture of this and save it. Maybe. Oh no, y'all. So sorry. Here we go. All right. Well, as I click through, again, please contact us with any questions that you may have or any concerns about anything that goes on during the week. And with that, I am going to open up the floor for questions. If you will please use the chat feature, we will try to go through those as we get them and sort them out. Okay. Also, so I can see the chat feature, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. That way I can help answer some of these questions. All right. Okay, so one, fees for missing meetings during class times. How do you avoid that? So all of our chapters, for different obligations that they may have, they're going to have a process for excused and unexcused absences for their events. So I would just encourage your student, if they have something during a time that they're supposed to be there, follow up with whoever the event is with and make sure that they get in those excuses on time. And that's going to be the number one thing that can help avoid that conflict. Let's see. So sorority fees, how and when are they due, other financial requirements and costs. Again, that chart on our website is going to cover a lot of our fees associated with the chapters. Outside of that chart, there's going to be maybe one or two off voluntary things, such as like t-shirts or whatever it may be. But that's a good estimate of what can be expected. We update those every spring, and so they are pretty true to date. And then how are they and when are they due? So if you, like I said, a lot of our chapters, they do have payment plans. And so usually that's going to be throughout the semester, once a month, however that chapter decides to split it up. It looks a little bit differently. So I would encourage your student to talk through this with the chapter as well, if this is a question for them. They will also not be paid through the university. They will be paid through a separate platform. Again, they will talk about this during the parent meetings that they have, and they will talk about it extensively with your student. But they all, like I said, it kind of looks differently for each chapter. So I just encourage them to talk about that. Wristbands. So wristbands on bid day, you will get 2. So those wristbands amount that does not include your daughter. Sorry. So a parent, 2 parents, siblings, whatever it may be. When they get invites in the morning, do they come dressed for the day? Yes. So whenever they do get their invites in the morning, they do come dressed for the day. And then depending on their schedule, they might have some downtime in between so they can go hang out in the union or maybe even go back to their dorm room for a little bit. Or they might have one directly after. So it is important for them to be prepared for that regardless. How large is each chapter before this freshman class? So our chapter sizes range, prior to the freshman class, really, I would say average would be around the 200 mark, not including new members. I would say last year our total chapter sizes were around 280 was the average. So that can be kind of what you can expect. Just Alpha Chi Omega have a house now. So Alpha Chi Omega, they are in the process of their building plan. They do not currently have a house on campus just yet, but they are working through that process to build. We have 915 girls that registered for recruitment this year. Doing a virtual round, P&Ms are talking to chapter members, so they will split out in different like breakout rooms. So they'll be talking either one-on-one or 1 to 2 members in that. Meal plans will be available during this process as well. Great question. How many resumes should my daughter bring? So your daughters, they would have already submitted their resumes and things on their registration form, so they do not have to bring anything with them, just themselves. And any of the other staff members and exec members, feel free to answer questions in the chat as well, or jump on if you wish. How much time are students expected to be directly involved in chapter activities once a bid is accepted? So I would say as a new member, a good, I would say probably maybe 3 to 4 hours a week, maybe lowballing it. I don't know. It's one of those that you can kind of put in as much as you wish. But again, that will directly correlate with how much you get out of it as well. So we always encourage them to be as involved as possible upfront with, again, keeping academics a priority. So they are going to have mandatory study hours. Most chapters have like a 3-hour weekly study hour requirement for their new members that first semester to help them kind of get their feet wet, get settled in, and have that strong foundation for going forward. On top of that, they will have new member meetings. They might have some small groups. They might have some one-on-one, big little dates. They like to go and get ice cream and get to know the older members in the chapters and all the things. So again, they can kind of pick and choose and work that out how they go. But that, I think that 3 to 4 hour mark a week at first is a good estimate there. At orientation, they told us if your daughter gets invited to 2 pref parties, goes to both, and lists both on her bid card, she's guaranteed a bid for one of those houses. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. That is correct. That is correct. What time do the parties start and end each day? So that will depend on their schedule. So party times can range anywhere from 7:30 in the morning till 8:50 at night is when the last one ends on the philanthropy day round. So I would just go ahead, and again, we don't necessarily know their schedules right off the bat. So if there is anything like that, I would just make sure that your daughter is prepared to spend the majority of her day during recruitment parties. Again, that won't be her whole entire day, but we don't necessarily know, again, where their schedule will fall in that world of things. If you do have any schedule conflicts that need to be looked out for, you can email me over here, abug@saffairs.mstate.edu, and we can take care of that. Bid day items. So when ordering bid day items, you can go straight to like the local stores. In that email, I listed a bunch of the stores here and boutiques that have bid day baskets and things that are already readily available. And so really you'll just go and you'll pick out whichever one that you want from one of those stores. And then as soon as your daughters will open up their bids on bid day, they will go ahead and start making those packages, and those will be delivered straight to the house from there. And if you have any questions about that, we can definitely send out. I'll make sure that those are sent again in the follow-up email that will include this link. My daughter has an honors college meeting the same day as pref days. Yes, so if you have a daughter that's in the honors college and they have that convocation on that day, I've already fixed their schedules to go ahead and move around that. But if you can make sure that they choose the 11 a.m. slot for that section, then that will make sure that they are able to go and meet their game cards, still get their schedules for that day, with also having time to go and attend that convocation after. For recruitment, how do the girls know when to meet, and where do you get updates about everything? Anna, if you want to answer that one.
Yes. So sometime next week, all of our Gamma Chi's, so the recruitment counselors, are going to call your daughter. So if they get a phone call from a random number, tell them to pick up, because it's probably their recruitment counselor, and she's going to let them know what group number they are in. So that's going to be the number that they go and find on the P&M orientation. At P&M orientation, they're going to give them the go ahead for the next day, and then the information kind of comes day by day as far as the information for like the next day goes. I don't know if that made sense, but they get all of that info from their recruitment counselor.
Perfect. Thanks, Anna. Are there disadvantages to being a sophomore in the bidding process? Absolutely not. We love our upperclassmen here at Mississippi State. We have a great relationship with our community colleges in the state of Mississippi. And so we tend to have a good bit of transfer students, upperclassmen, you name it. And so we don't typically have issues placing our upperclassmen or transfer students there. For out-of-state students, are the non-resident fee waived for students of MSU alumni? That would be more on the Mississippi State and academic side of things, but I can definitely look into that for you if you want to send me an email, and we'll definitely get you an answer for that. Is a chapter meal on a payment plan also? Yes. So those are going to be associated with your child's dues if they join a chapter. And so that will be also included in the payment plan. How dressy should they dress at the pref parties? Hope or Anna, y'all have that one too.
Honestly, whatever they feel comfortable in. Most girls are going to wear like a short dress. I know like maxi dresses have become more trendy recently, so I'm sure you'll probably see some girls in that, but nothing like too crazy, but just kind of like church attire. That's what I kind of went by whenever I was going through recruitment, so I would suggest the same.
I would also suggest comfy shoes. there's a lot of walking going on over here. So if you want to wear some fancy shoes, definitely bring some comfy ones to slide on after the parties are over.
Yeah, kind of going off that, a lot of girls will actually wear tennis shoes to the row and while they're walking in between the houses and then change into heels. So that's also a good thing to keep in mind.
Thanks, Anna. If I have $2 going through, can I get 4 wristbands? Absolutely. So those wristbands will be for each of your daughters. So those will just be in their bid cards and they'll be ready to give y'all those after they see you on bid day. Is the first day Zoom where you get to have an interview with a girl and do you have to wear a certain outfit? So yes, the first day being on Zoom, it's still going to be the same kind of concept as the rest of the week. It's not necessarily an interview or anything like that, even though it can definitely feel like that on occasion, a very casual interview, but still can definitely feel that way. Let's see. Do you have to wear a certain outfit? So you will have a t-shirt to wear with that. I would wear pajamas and I would just be super comfortable that day. Have fun with the accessories, go all out, do what you want to do there. But as long as you have that t-shirt, you're good to go. At what point do current active members have to cut off communication with PNMs? Okay, so the day that there's no more communication with active chapter members and the potential new members coming through is 8 days before recruitment, which is tomorrow. So tomorrow is the last day. Can you explain the recruitment bag process? What are they allowed to carry and what should they bring and not bring? So please do not bring your own recruitment bag because they will not be able to use it. So on at the PNM orientation, they will get their own gallon Ziploc bag. And so put whatever you want in that gallon Ziploc bag as appropriate. A lot of people do deodorant, oil blotting wipes, makeup for touch-ups, water, whatever it may be. And then also you can put your cell phones in that. We'll have buckets outside of each party. All the potential new members, as they walk into the parties, they will put those in their buckets, and then those will be taken into the houses during the parties and then brought back out, and they'll be able to grab those and keep moving. If your daughter has any more information that she needs to update for recruitment and registration, she can also email either me or Anna at one of our emails that we had listed, and we can definitely get that update for y'all. Oh, this is a great question for Anna and Hope as well. If you're rooming with someone who is also rushing, how does it work on Go Greek Day if you're both interviewing at the same time? I assume they would both be in their room, or is it common that they find a place somewhere else on campus?
So I think it's really up to your girls, but this actually happened to my roommate and I. So we would switch off and one of us would go in the bathroom. That sounds so silly and crazy, but we lived in Oak, so we had our own private bathroom. So during one party, she would go in the bathroom and I would sit at my desk, and then during the next one, we would switch. It honestly made for a really good talking point for recruitment because you would get to explain to the active member why you were sitting in the bathroom. But sometimes it'll work out to where maybe your roommate has all of her parties in the morning and then your daughter has all of their parties at the nighttime. So it could work out that way, but you could also go and find anywhere on campus or even go to like Starbucks or some other coffee shop if you wanted.
Great. Thanks, Anna. How long are each parties on the different days? So Go Greek Day, the parties are 20 minutes long. On Philanthropy Day, they are 30 minutes. On Sisterhood Day, they're 35 minutes. And then on Preference, they are 45 minutes long. Let's see. Not overprotective at all. So with potential late evenings, are there shuttles from the dorm? So there are not going to be shuttles, but Mississippi State does offer like a kind of like a buddy system. Forgive me, I'm not sure the exact term that they use what they call it for, but there are people that are walking around. They have very specific vests on. They're in like the parking lots and things like that, and they can always walk with their student during that time. Also, I will say if they ever need anything, they can, or if they feel unsafe in any way, they can call the MSU Police Department and they will offer them a ride or walk with them or whatever it may be. Also, if they do feel uncomfortable for any reason, they can also call one of us and we can make sure that they get anywhere safely from that. Just confirming for honor students, you want them to choose the 11 a.m. slot. Yes, that is correct. Let's see. A couple more on the wristband. So they're going to be for each woman that does receive a bid on bid day, in their bid cards that they will open in the union before they head over to the amphitheater. There will be 2 wristbands in that envelope. And so those are going to be for going into the houses and things following the bid day celebration. So if there are any parent meetings or things like that and y'all want to head over to the row with them, if it's a parent, if it's a sibling, I think I saw a question about, age exception, 8-year-old, that's totally fine, but just know that that does count as even if they were a full adult. So you get 2 for each of those people. Will the internet signal be strong enough to support the Zoom day? So, I would suggest, and if your daughters know what an Ethernet cord is, I will applaud you all. I would definitely suggest bringing one of those with you in your packing list, just in case the Wi-Fi it should be okay, but it can get a little bit like Wi-Fi. So I would take that as you will, but I would definitely have another option there, again, with that Ethernet cord or anything like that. There will also be an option, so if your daughter does have any technical issues or anything like that during Go Greek Day, they can also come up here to the union and we will have some laptops set up and ready for them to use if that does pop up. Let's see. So the 8-year-old needs a wristband. Yes. I'm not sure what I'd message back privately. So the name of the app that they should download will be the PNM Companion app. And so they will be told that with their call with their Gamma Kai's, they will also be told that at the PNM orientation. And so we will make sure that they have that down. But if y'all want to go ahead and download it, that is great. They're ahead of the game. Yes, there is an Ethernet plug in their residence hall rooms. The parent meetings on bid day was not planning to travel. I would, most of the time, our chapters are going to have if they do have an in-person parent meeting, they're also going to have another virtual parent meeting. This is just where they're going to kind of talk through the dues and fees associated, how to pay, expectations, and things like that. And the app name is called the PNM Companion app, and I'm going to write that down right here as well. And I'm sending that into the chat. Alrighty. Can you update your registration info? If y'all get it to me pretty quickly, then we can still update any registration info if you need to make any changes there. Okay. All right. Do we have any last minute questions before we wrap it up? Is it possible to get more wristbands if you have more than 2? Unfortunately, we are limited to just those 2 wristbands. And so that's going to just be if you're going in the house. And so if you need to switch out with somebody and just make it a loose one and go in that way, then that is an option. But that's just to make sure that we have, we don't have too many people in the houses themselves all at one point in time. Are the parents told about the bids before the girls? No, they are not. And so we work very, very hard to make sure that the girls are the first ones that get to open their bids and see where they will be that day. So that it's a big part of their experience, and honestly, it's one of the best parts. And so we like to make sure that they are the ones that get to share that news with everybody. If your daughter has an option to go off campus for the Go Greek meetings, like a home or a condo, can she go in order to get out of the way? Absolutely. Wherever your daughter is comfortable with doing the Go Greek Zoom, or yes, the Go Greek Zoom parties is totally fine as long as they have internet and they can get their Zoom going. They are good to go. Are there indoor restroom breaks available during the process? There are some facilities somewhat nearby the row with restrooms, but we do have some really, really fancy porta potties. They are air conditioned and they have a sink and they are all of the things. So I I guess they don't technically count as an indoor restroom, but they basically are. Let's see. Yes, there will be a recording of this meeting posted afterwards. So I'm going to send the link to that email thread, and it will also be posted on our website as soon as I can get that downloaded and put out there, which will probably be in the next day or so. Is there a video of them opening the bids? So we will not have videos of them actually opening the bids unless it's big on the social media now to video yourselves open your bids, I've learned. So unless they go that route, then there's not going to be any videos. Going to the boutiques for baskets. So a lot of our local stores here, to go through that, they will offer bid day baskets. And so those are going to be at different levels and different prices included in those. And so basically there are some stores, and I'll make sure that those are listed in the email as well when I send this link out. The stores that have those, and you can go and you can just order them. Most of the time, their websites or their social media, they will have what is in each different basket that is associated with those prices. And so if you wanted to order one ahead of time, or if you wanted to wait, whatever it may be, you can go ahead and do that, and they will be delivered to your daughter at their chapter house in the days following. The fees that show non-resident, meaning not living in the house. Yes, the residents. So if you were living on our chapter charts, okay, I'm picking up now. So on our that can be misleading. So on our website and with those fees associated and the dues breakdown, if it says new member, so that would be their first year, and if it says member non-resident, that means member not living in the house, and then member resident would be member living in the house. It's not actually out of state resident or in-state resident or anything like that. Thank y'all for getting me to clarify that. Cousin is in a fraternity. Can daughter still communicate with him? Absolutely. Yes. Please let him help you move. All that's some heavy stuff. Please go for it. That is fine. Let's see. Would you suggest using headphones if both the roommates are on a Zoom call and bathroom not an option, or just search for another location? I would. They make some pretty good headphones nowadays. I've also learned that with the noise cancellation options and things. So headphones have worked fine in the past. Again, if they are more comfortable, if it becomes an issue, we can find another location, and they're always welcome up here in the union with us. We have some classrooms blocked off. There's a lot of different little nooks and crannies that they can go and sit in during that time. So. Are they required to live in the house a particular year? So all of our chapters do have another on-campus living requirement post their freshman year. So once they get to state as first-time students, they are required to live on campus in a residence hall. And then after that, a lot of the chapters will either they have to live in the house or in our upper division residence hall that we have for Panhellenic women here. It's Cresswell or Hathorne. Both are a great time, but those kind of look different and vary between the chapters. And so I would definitely make sure that is a question that your daughter asks if they want to know that. Let's see. Can sophomore girls drive back and forth to apartment during recruitment days? Yes. Again, it depends on how much time is in between. We will have some spaces available, kind of like a waiting room or a sitting area for them to hang out if they only have like a party or two in between. But yes, they can go back and forth to the apartment if they need to, if they have a big long break. If they are parking, just make sure that they do not park on the row and that they park in their designated parking zone, and they should be good. So if your daughter is living on campus, then I would go ahead and suggest that they do walk. Again, we don't necessarily have a lot of just open, we don't have any really open parking. And so wherever their parking zone will allow them to park is going to probably be the best bet there. I would hate for them to get in a bind and not be able to park their car. But it also, I will say, everybody is very hot and sweaty, and so they should not worry about that part too much. All right, y'all. Any last minute questions before we hop off? Okay, sweet. Oh, one more. Does the shuttle stop along Sorority Row? Yes, there is a shuttle that stops along Sorority Row. Now, I do not believe that that shuttle will be running during this time, but there is one that does throughout the rest of the school year. All right, y'all. Well, we are going to wrap it up. Again, if there is anything that pops up, please let us know. We are happy to help in any way that we can. I appreciate you all. This recording again will be sent out to you all again, and it will be posted on our website. And we are looking forward to having your students on campus with us soon. So we will see y'all later. Thanks, y'all.